Hey everyone, I'm Rachel Polk, a tournament chair for Baylor Mock Trial. Thank you guys for coming to our 19th annual Noah K. Antony Green and Gold Invitational. We're so happy to have you guys competing at our first ever Zoom tournament that we're hosting.
Hey everyone, my name is Krishna Kanduri. I'm the other tournament chair. You've probably had correspondence with either me or Rachel, or maybe both of us over these past few months. We're very excited that y'all are here. As Rachel said, it's her first Zoom tournament, but we think it's going to go really well. There's a lot of familiar and unfamiliar teams here, and we're excited to have you all. So I'm going to hand it over to Chris, one of our coaches.
Hi, everyone. Welcome, everyone, to this online tournament. My name is Christopher Royce. I'm currently a 2L at Baylor Law School. And I'm just going to take a moment of your time. I don't want to take up too much because I know you're all getting ready for pairings. But I want to talk a little bit about the name of this tournament. For those of you that do not know, the official name of this tournament is the Noah K. Antony Green and Gold Invitational. Now, it's always been called Green and Gold ever since before I came here. But we changed the name a few years back in remembrance of Noah, because unfortunately, while he was at Baylor and while he was a member of this team, Noah passed away. And so I want to talk a little bit about our decision to rename this tournament, as I think it's really important. There was two main reasons. And so the first one is kind of obvious, kind of pretty traditional, but that's really to keep his memory alive. And Noah had a kind heart. He was always a fun person to be around. And just like most of you, he loved doing mock trial. And the second reason that we decided to rename this tournament is really just something that I think is even more evident today with everything going on with this global pandemic. And that really is that sometimes we take for granted the fact that we really get to see each other every day and we get to interact. The harsh reality is that every single one of us in your teams, well, you're not going to be together forever. And, most of the time that's going to be because, well, someone's doing their last tournament or they're graduating. But in the unfortunate circumstance, there are some times where you don't expect to not see this person the next day. And so most of the time, what I would tell and challenge people to do is to give a hug to some of your teammates or tell them that you appreciate them, because in this thing that we do called mock trial, sometimes behind the scenes things can get rough. There's arguing, there's a lot of struggles that go on. But at the end of the day, I want to challenge each one of you to tell your team members how important it is that you are part of their lives. And so my challenge, again, normally would be to give a hug to a teammate or to tell them how much you care. But so I change the challenge a little bit with this online format. And so I want to say, new members, text your captains tonight, tell them how much you appreciate them. And captains, tell your new members how hard they're working and how proud you are of their work. Because, like I said, sometimes you don't know what's always going to happen. And whether or not you like it, you're part of this mock trial community this year. And lucky enough, the Baylor program got to see firsthand how great this community really can be. The year that Noah passed away, they were really helpful in coming all together and really just making sure that we were okay. I remember when we competed at regionals that year, all the schools in Texas that were there wore these blue pins in his honor. And so I always think about that and just always will remember for as long as I live how important this mock trial community really is. And so I just want a little bit, that's why we named the tournament after Noah today, to keep his honor alive, but also to remember that this is just an activity. The people that you're with are really important. And so remember, just after you're done today with these rounds, make sure to tell you people how important they are to you. I know I've taken up enough of your time, so I just want to say again, welcome to this tournament. Best of luck to you all this weekend, and I'm looking forward to seeing some good rounds. And so I will now pass it along to, I believe, your tournament director for this weekend, Elliot.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, so my name's Elliot Riches. If you've come to Green and Gold before, you've probably seen me. I am the tab director for Green and Gold. I'm going to go over just a few logistical things before I go into the first round pairings. So first, I've corresponded either with some of you directly or through our tournament staff at Baylor, giving you some of the information. All of you should have a copy of my phone number. I will be answering all my phone calls and texts this weekend, even if I don't recognize the number. So if something comes up, call me, text me. That'll be the easiest way to get in contact with me during the tournament. That's if there's an issue with a judge or you have a technical issue you can't resolve, anything like that, please let me know. Unlike usual, the only way I'm going to know these things is if someone actually, gets a hold of me. As part of that, I will try and be in the tab room Zoom most of the time. Sometimes I won't be able to. So if you have a tab issue during a round, go to that tab room link. And if I'm not in there, just send me a text and I'll join right away. And then we can hopefully get it resolved and move on very quickly. So that's just a note on that. We'll hope that you have some patience with us. We shouldn't have many judging problems. In fact, our judge turnout's been quite good. And so we're hoping to be able to provide you a really strong tournament, but there are always last minute dropouts or issues that occur. So give us some patience if the rounds start a few minutes late. We'll try and start them as close to on time as possible. Additionally, this was put in the tournament packet, but coaches, family members, please make sure you're watching with the live stream, not in the Zoom room itself. We want to really make sure that we're not overcrowding those rooms, that it's just the competitors, the judges, and then if tournament staff are coming in and out to deal with issues. Okay, so those are kind of the big issues. One other thing to note, I know that there was a new ANTA rule somewhere this year that we aren't taking breaks before closing arguments. We're ignoring that rule because, well, I don't like it personally, and I think you all deserve that break. So as long as there's time, feel free to ask for a break before closing arguments. I've seen some tournaments that have enforced it, some that haven't, so don't worry about that here. All right, so I will now get to the thing that you all have been waiting for. And so if one of the tournament directors from Baylor can go ahead and share the first round pairing list, I'll go through them. All right, so without further ado, in courtroom number 1, the plaintiff will be team 1027, Baylor University A. The defendant will be team 1216, Kennesaw State University A. Moving on to courtroom 2, the plaintiff will be team 1014, the University of Texas at Austin A. And the defense will be team 1048, the University of Texas at Arlington A. In courtroom 3, we'll have team 1015, the University of Texas at Austin B. And in the defense, we'll have 1123, University of California, Berkeley. Moving on to courtroom 4, we'll have team 1016, University of Texas at Austin C. And the defense will be team 1845, Baylor University C. In courtroom 5, the plaintiff will be represented by team 1012, Texas A&M University B. And the defense will be team 1138, the University of Houston. In courtroom 6, the plaintiff will be team 1895, the University of Texas at Arlington B. And the defense will be team 1248, Wake Forest University. In courtroom 7, we'll have team 1603, University of Oklahoma A, versus team 1093, the University of Texas at Dallas B. In courtroom 8, we'll have team 1963 as the plaintiff. That's Kennesaw State University B. And they'll be playing team 1911 on the defense, Southern Methodist University. Courtroom 9, the plaintiff will be team 1604, University of Oklahoma B. And the defense will be team 1092, the University of Texas at Dallas A. And then our final pairing of the evening, in courtroom 10, the plaintiff will be team 1011, Texas A&M University A. And the defense will be team 1028, Baylor University B. As I'm sure you saw in the emails, you'll do your captains meetings in the Zoom room. They're open right now. So if you're available, you can go right into them. As I mentioned, please don't change any of the settings until the judges arrive, and make sure that the plaintiff or the defense, but I put it on the plaintiff so that everyone knows whose responsibility it is, sends me a copy of the captain's info. Otherwise, I'm going to have to start chasing people down later in the weekend, and that'll delay rounds. So if you have questions or issues, I'll hop in the tab room now and just leave that open until we start the round. And everyone have a great tournament.